Hello, Poke people, and welcome back to Classic Trading Cards. I hope you're having a great weekend and that your entire neighborhood is not covered in 2 feet of snow like mine. Right now, there's a winter blizzard, and I probably won't be leaving my house over the next 24 to 48 hours. It's basically just not an option at this point. So, anyway, I hope wherever you are is nice and warm and you can travel as you please. So, the original topic of this video was going to be about how I am no longer purchasing ancillary products unless I plan to like rip them, and that probably still is the case. However, doing a little bit of research on that, I realized that some of the ancillary products I purchased really performed well versus some of the products that I could have been buying at the time and that were more expensive. So with that being said, let's jump into the first example I have, which are these Electrode V boxes. They have a Astral Radiance pack, 2 Lost Origins, and a Brilliant Stars. Great pack selection. At the time, this was about a year ago. I was purchasing these, a little bit more than a year ago, and at the time, I was just buying whatever said Pokemon on it because I didn't have a lot of research in at the time. I had some capital to deploy, but wasn't being that intelligent with my money. In hindsight, I probably could have bought some other things, more 151 obviously, but regardless, I just wanted to show you an example that if you don't have a lot of money to invest at this current moment, it doesn't mean you have to sit on the sidelines and twiddle your thumbs, because over the past year, if I decided to sell this product now, I would realize around 130% gains on just this ancillary product alone. Now, if I were to compare that to, like I said, there's 2 Lost Origin packs inside of it. If I were to compare it to the booster box a year ago, if I was purchasing this around $400, which I did purchase one of these, however, I'm only up 85% on that investment. Now let's look again at the ancillary product, up 130%. Technically, I would rather have the booster box long term. You're putting a lot of packs in a small space, condensing it, and I just would rather have the booster box. However, not everyone has $400 to invest in a booster box. So if you only have a couple hundred and you wanted to buy a few of these Electrode V boxes, hey, you'd still be making great gains. Another purchase I made on the Pokemon Center website were these Astral Radiance 3-pack blisters. It comes with a promo. There's also an Eevee version. This is the Sylveon version. I bought 12 of each, okay? I bought them for $19 a piece, and over the past year, if you would have bought them at market price, which was a little over $20, you'd be up 62% on that purchase. And just in the past 6 months alone, you're up about 20%. So really, if you compare that to the stock market, you're doing great. Had you purchased the Astral Radiance booster box, you'd only be up 43% on your purchase if you were buying these around $275, $300. And quite honestly, over the past 6 months, you're going sideways. I mean, the money is just kind of sitting there not doing much. As opposed to the 3-pack blister, the past 6 months, I'm up 20%. So I just kind of wanted to highlight some of these places where, if you don't have a lot of money and you want to still participate in the investment space, you can do so. You just have to set pick, do a little bit of research, see what sets are good, and pull the trigger. So one of my better plays actually were on Silver Tempest sleeved booster packs. Someone was offloading a really good, having a really good deal on these. He was selling them for $3.50 at the time. He had over 80 packs. I said, I'll take them all. Went to his house, picked them up. He gave them to me in a brown paper bag, brown grocery bag. I still have it. I mean, and let's look at the percentage gains. If you had purchased these just at market price for around $7.50 a year ago, you'd be up 70% on your purchase. Now, if you had bought the booster box, you'd only be up 73% on your purchase. So very comparable, still a respectable amount of gains, but you wouldn't had to have had $275 to invest in that product at the time. You could have bought some sleeve packs, spend maybe $100 on sleeve packs, and still be doing really well on that purchase. with the local deal I had, I'm up 350% on that. And that's because I was willing to meet up with someone and he was willing to give me a little bit of a discount at the time just because I was buying a large amount. However, it doesn't always have to be like that. You can still make gains if you buy things online. Now, to close out the video, I just wanted to do a quick market recap of some of the trending sets in the current times. 151, I personally, for me, it's long gone. I mean, what I have is what I have, and I probably won't be purchasing any more of this in the near future unless I get a really, really good deal on it. If you look at some of these price points, I mean, a year ago you could have been buying the regular ETBs of 151 for $200. Now, you're over 300% gains on that purchase alone. If you were buying these a year ago and you have a decent amount of this product, I would honestly sell a couple of these and lock in some profits. I'm not obviously, if you look 5-10 years from now, 151, this $620 price point is going to seem like a huge discount. However, not everyone has that amount of money to invest in one product. And if I were you and I had a good amount of these sitting around, I would definitely be uh, offloading this and at least a few of them, keeping some for long term and reinvesting the gains into sets that are going to be going out of print within the next year, primarily Prismatic Evolutions. Another product that you could have been buying at big box stores is the 151 Ultra Premium Collection. I bought one of these for $500 a couple months ago. I'm already up 100%. I mean, that's just ridiculous. If you were to compare that to the stock market or something, or like a mutual fund, that's impossible to make those types of gains unless you are betting on a single stock or you get incredibly lucky. So yes, I'm glad I purchased it. I felt a little bit uncomfortable about it at the time because that was a fairly large amount of money for a single product and not being like a booster box or something. But when I looked at it, the promos are awesome. 151's going out of print soon. It was kind of a no-brainer, but that still doesn't mean it wasn't uncomfortable for me to, unload or unleash that amount of capital that I had sitting around for this product. Am I glad I did so? Sure. Am I going to sell it? No, but at least, I have one in my collection, and down the road, I could see this going to $2,000 over the next like year or two. With that being said, Prismatic Evolutions, I think, would be the next obvious place to put your money if you aren't already putting it into Ascended Heroes, because not only is Pokemon going to have to start focusing on printing other sets, but this set specifically is one of the more generational, iconic sets and nostalgic for people who were getting into the hobby around that time, including myself. I was getting into the hobby around early December of 2024, excuse me, early December 2024, and then Prismatic came out, and I mean, I was hooked. I really liked that set. I didn't open a ton of it, however, I can appreciate and understand what makes a good set now that I've had some time in the space. Anyway, the price itself, $200. I think a year from now, this is going to seem like a really big discount because, again, Pokemon doesn't have the capacity to print the same set over and over. And if they do, they're probably not going to do ETBs. They're going to do booster bundles and ancillary products like they have been. And actually, recently on Pokemon Center, they did a drop of booster bundles. And the price is still going up. I mean, over the past month, up nearly 12%, 3 months, 30%. Honestly, I hope the price goes down because I also saw today that they're going to be they might be getting a large amount of these in big box stores soon, which means maybe we'll see prices around $60 online, which could mean even lower locally. If these are available locally and you're able to find a good deal on them in the near future, I definitely recommend loading up on these. This is another example of, you don't have to have $200 to invest in a single product. You could buy a few booster bundles around that same price and see really good gains over the next year. I could easily see this product going over that $100 price mark and climbing into the, 120, 130 price range over the next 6 months even. Another set that I'm going heavy on in the moment is Ascended Heroes. I'm a buyer of these locally for around $85, $90, and I really don't see why I should sit around and wait any longer for this set to drop and for me to get bigger discounts on it. This is honestly personal. This is a personal opinion, not a hot take though, because I honestly think this is one of the best sets that Pokemon has ever released, especially in the modern era. I mean, the variety of Pokemon that are top hits in this set is let's just consider it a better set than Prismatic to me, because Prismatic, obviously people love Eevee and people love the evolutions. However, the variety inside of Ascended Heroes to me offers a better value long term. You're hitting not just the Eevee lovers with Prismatic, but you're hitting people with this set who love Dragonite. They love Gengar. They love Pikachu. You're hitting all these different areas instead of just focusing on the evolutions. So to me, Ascended Heroes is a no-brainer around this price point. If you don't have a bunch available locally, just pick up some online. I mean, could the price drop $20? Sure. But if you're a long-term minded individual and you're in this for the long haul, this price point is going to seem like a huge discount in 2 to 3 years. I mean, you're really going to thank yourself for having purchased this around this price point. That's kind of what I'm seeing in the market currently as far as opportunities and sets that I'm focusing on, especially Ascended Heroes. Will I be buying Prismatic bundles? Continue to buy Prismatic bundles? Yes. However, Ascended Heroes is really my focus right now. I have a decent amount of Prismatic. Now I kind of want to balance that out and continue to pick up this Ascended Heroes at a price point that I think seems fair. It's a really good set. And you're going to be hard pressed to find another set quite as good as this one in the next, plus or minus 6 months. I really don't see a comparable set besides Prismatic, and which will be out of print in a year. So if you're going to load up on something for the sake of it going out of print, go with Prismatic. If you're a little bit more long-term minded and you're willing to let your investment kind of stagnate for a little while and grow slowly, I think Ascended Heroes is the way to go. Anyway, again, I hope you guys have a great week coming up. If you feel compelled, please like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. I really thank you guys for tuning into the channel. It doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you guys for commenting and giving me your thoughts and feedbacks. If you see any other opportunities in the market right now and you want to comment and kind of show me what you're seeing, that'd be cool. Let's start a conversation on YouTube. So anyway, again, if you don't have a lot of capital to deploy, start looking at some ancillary things. Even though it's not as popular and even though they take up a lot of space, there are gains to be made. Also, here are some sets that I'm focusing on, some products that I'm focusing on that I think, are just kind of no-brainer plays. Anyway, again, I hope you guys have a great week. Cheers.